Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. Tonight's final drink is from Fincasa Whiskey. This is their rum barrel finished rye whiskey, coming in at a 50% ABV, at least 3 years old. So for full disclosure, I reached out to Fincasa Whiskey for a review sample. They were kind enough to send this over for us to take a look at and to review, so just keeping that transparency open. Now, if there's one thing that I am a huge fan of, it's when you take a rye whiskey and you finish it in a rum barrel. The complementing spices that rum and rye can have together is just fantastic. And Fincasa Whiskey obviously knows that as well. And the great stuff is they tell us all the nitty-gritty details that we also love and love to see them be so transparent about. So starting off, we know that this is actually being distilled in Indiana, and they tell us the mash bills they're using. They're actually using 2 different mash bills and 2 barrels of each of those builds. The first one being the tried and true 95% rye, 5% malted barley, coming in at a 4-year, 1-month-old, and then a second 2 barrels with the 51% rye, 45% corn, and 4% malted barley, coming in at a 3-year, 5-month-old age statement on those. And then they are being blended together and rested in Barbados rum barrels. They tell us between 6 and 12 months. On the website, it actually tells us specifically 7 months on this batch. And this is batch 1. Now, to be honest, I'm really excited to see how this goes because instead of just being that common 95.5 rye being finished, that blend taking place in this to kind of change things up should add some additional characteristics to things. So let's just go ahead and jump into things. As always, we're going to be trying it 2 different ways. First way, neat, no ice, no water. Second way, we'll add just a drop of water, see if anything changes up. I love this bottle shape. This is just a gorgeous, the dark brown glass here, the very cool stopper on top. Bottles are part of marketing, I love it. And the great stuff is most of that information that we talked about is actually all listed right here on the bottle. Again, we love transparency, so love seeing that too. So as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hang around for a bit, and become a member if you'd like. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about Fincasa Whiskey, you can take a look at their website, which will be linked down in the description area below. So you can learn a little bit more and maybe pick yourself up a bottle if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Beautiful color on that. Look at that. Almost just a light golden color and going on there. All right, let's go for notes. Now that's just gorgeous. Wow. There's a lot going on for this one. So, untypical beans that they're doing that blending effect with the 51% rye. It really actually pulls back on some of the commonalities that we see in MGP rye whiskey. So it's not quite the big slap of herbal, medicinal, and this big old burst of spices going on. It's a little more refined. We start off with getting some nice baking spices going on here. A little bit of cinnamon, clove, nutmeg coming from the rum cask, but also that bit of rye spice. There is a charry sweet layer, almost like a creme brulee going on. You still get a lot of sweet rye characteristics going on here, but it's not just quite as potent as you might be used to. It goes a little herbal, a little medicinal, and a little rye floral as well. There is a nice rich oakiness in there as well. A little bit of, man, what is that I'm getting? Almost a chocolatey, almost like it's like sweet candy, but like candy coated chocolate. But there's like a sweet candy note going on in here right now. I'm interested to see if that'll come across in the taste because it's got kind of, it reminds me of like the candy shells like that are over like milk chocolates. Like, I'm not going to say M&Ms, but something similar to that. So it's got this like sweet candy notes, a lot of spice layers, that rum sweetness, that charry from the molasses is showing up too. I mean, that is a really nice nose. There's no ABV, nothing harsh, no off notes. But I love what they're doing with that blend. Let's go for a taste. I mean, that's just a prime example of a rum finished rye. You're getting all the charriness from the cask. The sweet layers going on in there as well from the spice coming from that rum. But then you're getting this clash of these rye spice notes, that herbal, the medicinal. You're not getting that MGP dilly note that some people find. I find it a lot of times. But the two are mingling together, bringing you across a sweet, spicy effect going on. There's a little bit of pepperiness in there too. And then I think I figured out the candy that I'm thinking of. Again, there's a candy coating shell, and I think there are sixlets. I'm going to put a picture of them over here because it's got this light milk chocolate note, but also kind of a sweetness of a candy coating on there. But not quite as milk chocolate as M&Ms are, but it kind of reminds me of sixlets. Nice sweet earthiness in there too, coming from the rye. You're also getting this bit of corn sweetness going on there from the secondary mash bill, which is really nice. It's got this like sweet buttery corn note going on. Again, this is not your typical rum finished rye, and I'm really digging the quality going on in here with that blend and that finishing time. That is really a solid example of doing kind of the tried and true that we know, but then doing this twist with that second mash bill going on. Here in this finish now, I'm actually starting to find a bit of that black tea note that I can find sometimes in MGP, and I love that note. It's like an oversteeped black tea. Very rich, but beautifully done. All right, let's add a little drop of water, see if anything changes up here. Not quite sure what to expect, but that's why we do this, right? The linger on the palate, it's got a beautiful spice to it as well. All right, let's go for notes on the water version. A little sweet spicy now, even a little sweeter than the neat version. You still get a lot of similar qualities going on from the neat, but if anything, I would say the rye spice shows up maybe a little bit more, but this has the depth to it. It's a little more rich and refined over here. This is kind of a little more lively and a little more spice heavy, but still nothing off, no ABV, nothing harsh. Should do pretty well in a cocktail as well. All right, let's go for taste. That's not too bad either. It goes a little more classic rum finished rye. You're getting a lot more of the spicy herbal medicinal going on in there from that rye spice. You're getting a little bit of a light charriness from that cask down. Still nothing off. It just goes very tried and true on that taste. Let's go back to the neat one here. Yeah, I mean, that's where all your characteristics. Oh, that's so good. I love that black tea note mixed with that milk chocolate. As always, it doesn't matter what you drink or how you drink it, as long as you enjoy it. Both are really solid, honestly. This isn't half bad, though all your good characteristics are over here, especially if you're drinking this neat. So, let's talk about market price, because we all know market price is market price, and it's always going to vary. So, you can actually pick this up right from their website for about $85. And to be honest, I don't think that's a bad asking point. When you look at your rum finished rye section, there are some big players in that. Obviously, one of the biggest being Angel's Envy. Now, they are, charging anywhere between $80 to $100+ in some markets. I love that secondary mash bill to put in here because it's not so much in your face, big bold flavors or big bold spices. It is an easy sipper with some good characteristics that you can really sit down and pick apart if you wanted, but you don't have to because that is just a gorgeous sip. We love the transparency on here. They're using MGP. MGP makes great whiskey. That's a hard thing to argue, in my opinion. On top of that, they're keeping it at 50% ABV. So that's even harder to beat yet. They're not proofing it down too low. They're going to the 9s on this. I'm excited to see what other additional batches down the road's going to bring. If they'll stick with that mash bill or anything kind of will vary. But I gotta say, for a batch 1, this gets a big thumbs up in my playbook. Bravo on that one. And again, if you're interested in learning more about Fincasa whiskey, check out their website down in the description area below. Go show them some love. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Fincasa whiskey, rum barrel finished rye whiskey. If you have any questions about the bottle itself, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirits I should go looking for, also let me know down below. Love doing these reviews and sharing with you the experience at home. And as always, your last drink of the night